Thank you so much, and good afternoon to you all. I'm actually in Hawaii, so it's good morning for me. Uh, Thank you so much, Jillian, for giving us the opportunity for for the small group. I'm sure there is something that I can certainly bring value to the table and help you clarify any questions and help you anyway if you're facing certain issues with Salesforce emails, whatnot. I'm going to make it a little informal. Feel free to interrupt me in between if at all you have any questions that you want to ask me. Otherwise, there's going to be a Q&A session as well. So let's get started. Thank you so much once again. My name is Siva Devaki, and I'm the co-founder and co-CEO of MassMailer. Been a partner with Salesforce for over 12 years now. Started MassMailer 4 years ago, but as a company, I think it's around close to 3 years now. Have been helping Salesforce community with our small app, but definitely powerful. And certainly a lot of nonprofits have been our customers, and they feel good about it. And I'm sure you will also have kind of a value that you can take from this conversation and this presentation. Okay. And how do we help nonprofits? Yeah, MassMailer being a Salesforce app. I think I missed out the slide what MassMailer is all about. It's a simple mass email solution. Even you can send out single emails as well via Salesforce without having to hit any limitations. Very simple. You can also send email attachments. So the way we help nonprofits, a lot of nonprofits I've seen, they do fundraising and they want to send out emails. That's a very common use case. And maybe they have some sort of a membership and they need to send out renewal notices and reminders that it got to be automated. So through Process Builder, they can achieve that. And sometimes they will need to communicate with their donors. That's one more use case scenario that I've seen. And the regular newsletters, any kind of event announcements. You want to send out all of this right within Salesforce because you got the data and you want to collect all the statistics and the opens and clicks and everything right within Salesforce. And the engagement, any other engagement that you do with the community. So that's a common use case scenario that I've seen. And in general, any workflow email alert, it doesn't need to be just a renewal notice. It could be just kind of a quick response that you need to send for any donor who comes on your website and you need to send a quick email, but you want to track it, you can do that. And also you can do some sort of a drip campaign using the Process Builder and MassMailer. That's a very common scenario I've seen. And beyond that, we have many features. I don't know if we have time to touch base all of that, but at a high level, we can help you to be successful in your campaigns, meaning it's not only sending emails. Need to make sure that you secure your domain reputation, IP reputation, follow the best practices, make sure that your contacts are valid. So we got that full-blown, like an entire end-to-end email suite, you can call that as, right? And then the advantage is because it's all in Salesforce, so it's easy to use and scalable. Any number of users, it doesn't matter. And also you get the statistics right there on the campaign, and also you would know who received and who opened it and who clicked. If you want to take any action when some event happens, you can do that. And also you can have the unsubscribes, which is very important for compliance purposes. And if you want to segregate the groups, such as having email preferences, such as say donor communication, newsletters, or maybe some sort of events. We want to segregate them and have email preferences. That way, people don't unsubscribe from all the emails, but they are selective when they're unsubscribing. We talked about drip campaigns and same thing, file attachments. We do have that native support. Why MassMailer? Why not just the Salesforce, the email functionality, what they have? It's because there are a lot of limitations. And if you're under 5,000 daily limits, you're okay to use Salesforce, but the other problems that are there, such as you can't really track all the stats and events in Salesforce. It's not that robust. And most likely you will end up into deliverability issues. So even though you're sending out emails, spending a lot of time coming up with a strategy and everything, you never know whether whether email is going to the inbox or is going to the spam. So how do you know and how do you fix it? Salesforce doesn't give you any dedicated IP address. And also the email alerts, you can send the workflow email alerts with Salesforce, but you cannot track them. And also the email preferences we talked, that's not there. And also the sender domain. Let's say you have to send from on behalf of someone else, or even sending out email from a different domain. You can do that with MassMailer. And the template builder, so this is a very common thing. Always I see that the users are not techie savvy and they don't know how to really code HTML. I mean, you may end up hiring somebody or getting some templates online, or build something on your own and then try to load it up in Salesforce. If you're just doing a plain regular email template, like a text-based, I know Salesforce is great, but if you need like a real good-looking email template, your options are either you hire somebody, or if you know HTML, you can do that, or maybe use some sort of an editor outside of Salesforce. What we have done, we built an email template builder, and then that's native to Salesforce, even though we use a third-party plugin, but everything that you do right within Salesforce, you can build templates. And then workflow email tracking we talked about. And as I said, since it's native, there's an API that's available, so you can extend the functionality of MassMailer. So you can, if you have a unique requirement, we can always discuss what it is, and then you can leverage our API to send emails. And you can also customize with the developer APIs. That's always possible. And then ability to use native email templates. If you already have Salesforce email templates, you can actually use them because we store all the templates right within Salesforce. Yeah. So talking about a case study, unfortunately, I could not get Glenn on the call today. It's a nonprofit in San Francisco. They currently use Salesforce Salesforce as well as MassMailer. And they basically wanted to build kind of a reminder emails, as I was saying, the membership reminder emails. And it's a pain. If you don't know Apex, you end up hiring an Apex developer who can actually code it for you. Like meaning, let's say your membership runs annually, and you need to send out reminders, let's say 2 months before, 1 month before, 15 days before the membership expires. You would have to have the time-bound workflow alerts, but you also want to track. How do you do that? So MassMailer has a feature through which you can actually send out these alerts, and also you can also track what has been sent, and that gets logged as an activity history. And Glenn is a great fan of MassMailer. He always watches for it, and we thank him always. They were actually using Constant Contact earlier, and a lot of issues such as data synchronization issues, especially. Meaning anyone opt-outs, I think you will have to import the data. I don't know if it's actually automated. So opt-outs is a bigger pain. And also, in general, getting all the statistics and all that, it's not a straightforward thing when you're actually using third-party plugin. So certain issues that they had, so they're able to actually bypass all of those issues and leverage MassMailer to send out these reminder emails. They also use it for the regular newsletters and stuff. They use it. MassMailer. Okay, so before I get into the demo, any questions that I can answer?
Not in here.
Okay. Right. Okay, so I'm sure you're all familiar with Salesforce and the Lightning system, so I don't need to talk much about Salesforce. It's a native app. Once you install it, you will see tabs such as MassMailer Setup, Outreach Wizard, List Views, Template Builder, and many more you would have because you got advanced features. Yeah. So the first and foremost thing, you want to kind of filter out your target list, right? And the list views is for that purpose. We also have a feature through which you can send out emails to Salesforce list view, not only MassMailer list view. You can also send emails via the Salesforce campaign. So that's another feature as well. So I'll show you how to do other things, but let's start with the MassMailer list view because it's quite advanced. The way you would do it is click on that new button, which brings up a Visual Force page. Sorry, the Lightning page. Sometimes I'm still a classic fan. So the list view, you just have to give a name. Let's call this as a demo view on September 26th. We can send it to lead. So let's call it as lead. Yep. And then you select the object. Let's say it is lead. And then you have the filter criteria section here. So this filter criteria can go to the object itself or even the parent object. And then we have the filter type criteria. You can have the advanced filter type criteria as well. And the child filter criteria, in which you can add the advanced child filters. You can also display the fields, what fields you want to see when you preview the data. That's also available. So let's select a field. I'm going to go give a very simple filter called email. I'm going to make it as equals and enter a value and then preview. And you get one record. If you're happy, then just close it and then save it. That becomes your list view, right? And now, how do you create a template? So for which we have this template builder. As I mentioned, template builder is native to Salesforce, but we use a third-party plugin. And this is a quite easy drag and drop kind of mechanism. You would see two tabs. One is called Manage Email Template, and the other one is Manage Base Template. What is the difference between these two? Base template is nothing but you want to have some sort of a header and a footer, and you want to fill in the details in between. Like you want your users to actually change the content in between. Then you can actually go create a base template and train your users saying that, hey, this is a base template that I created. You can go modify it, right? That's kind of a concept why we need to have this base template. For email template, let's just go pick a folder. Again, these folders are nothing but the folders that you created in Salesforce. Currently, we support classic folders because we've seen the API is still not open for the Lightning email template. I'm sure eventually Salesforce would open up. And then here you would say create new template. And if you're using any base template, you can select this option. If not, you can just leave this and just give a name. Let's call this as September 26th demo template. And then let's say September 19 newsletter. And then here you have an option to select an object and then select the merge field. So let's say you want to use first name as the merge field, and it brings up the merge field right here. And then you can copy paste this in your content. Yeah, let's just keep that for now. We go up to 6 levels. Let's say you have data that you want to bring in from the parent. For example, contact to parent and maybe parent to parent. You can go up to 6. Technically, we've limited it to 6 levels, but we can always expand it if needed. Now, you can see the editor itself has got 3 different sections: content, rows, and settings. Yeah, rows. Let's take a look at it first. So this is one row, and this is another row, and each row can have multiple columns. So let's say I'm going to drag and drop this right there, and you can have whether 2 columns, 3 columns, 4 columns, up to 4 columns, but with various widths. So the width actually can change. And the settings itself is basically if you want to increase the overall content area width, you can do that. And the background color, content background color, and the font and everything. These are all like a kind of a global settings for the entire template. And the content, each individual content element can be text, image, button, divider, social, HTML, or video. These are the 7 content items what we got. Let's say this is going to be a header image, drag and drop. And let's say this is going to be your divider, drag and drop. Let's say this is going to be your footer, a social icon, drag and drop. And let's say this is your divider. And now you're actually going to have maybe video here, maybe some sort of a text here. Yeah. So that's your basic template. Now you can actually work off of individual elements. Since it's an image, you got to browse and insert an image, and that image can come from your desktop. You can upload it from your computer, or you can actually import it from, say, the storage that you may have, such as from a link, or maybe Gmail, Dropbox, Google Drive, OneDrive box. So there are many options. Or you can even take a picture, right? And let's say, so the third option is the free photo. So if you ever need to embed some, some nice looking photograph, and you can actually just get a free one from here. You can just search and it brings up the free pictures that are copy that don't have any copyright. Let's say we pick up this logo, that's your header. And then let's say you want to enter a video URL. So you got an option to, so let's see, let's pick up some video. Okay, copy link address. And when you click this, it actually gives you the option to provide the video URL. And we currently support, by default, we support 2. One is YouTube and the Vimeo. But if you have hosted a video in some place and you want to bring up that HTML, video, you can do that. A tiny HTML snippet that you can actually just get it from our instructions guide, and then you can embed that video right there. And you got other options, advanced options. If you needed to add some padding, you can do that. That way it is actually sitting in between, and the more advanced options as well. And here, this is the text, and the text, again, when you select this text, you can change the font, you can change the size, and you can link to something. You can do the regular formatting for the text, and also the text color can be changed quite easy. And also, you can change the link color, all of that, right? Let's say we want to add that merge field. We copied it. We can copy it from here and then paste it here, and that becomes your merge field. Yeah. So let's say that this is a demo email, and then I'm done. And here, looking at this section, it's again quite easy to change this. You can just delete, or you can add any. And then you can also change the colors. If you don't like that, you can change. And then if you actually needed to add one more row, just because you want to have some sort of a company information, you can just add one row and then type it in. So that's how you create your email template. It doesn't take much time. I generally build it less than 10 minutes without having to know any HTML. And then once you're done, you just have to click here to save to Salesforce. Remember, there's a save button here. You're saving the work in the editor in the plugin, and you're saving to Salesforce by clicking on this button. And that creates an email template within Salesforce. So you've got the list view, you've got the template builder. Now the next goal for us is to go to the outreach wizard, and through which you're actually going to send emails. And the outreach wizard, again, is a step-through process. You can give a campaign name. Again, this is not Salesforce campaign. We call it as campaign. This is a generic term. And you can see outreach campaign channel is currently only email. We are developing the SMS, MMS, voice, and WhatsApp. So you would see those options available in the coming months. So the next step is to select the target audience. Here, you're actually selecting an object. Let's say you want to send emails to leads, and then you select. I'm gonna pick some random because I forgot what I created. Let's just select one of the leads, the views, and then you go to the next step. And here you have an option to select the email template, what you created, or you can also just create one from here. We got both advanced editor and the basic editor options you can select. And if you needed to add more merge fields, you have a section through which you can select the merge fields. You can do the A/B testing. You can add the preview text. You can also add the text version of your email too. So let's say we're going to select one of the templates. And September 26th demo template, and automatically loads into the advanced editor, and it brings up right here, right below. And you have an option to make changes at runtime. So whatever changes that you make, it's not stored in the email template, but it is stored in the email that you're actually sending. So if, let's say, you want to change something here, my updated email content, something on those lines, and then save it. So you're saving the work that you've done before going to the next step. So click on the next button, and here you have an option to upload file. Again, you can get it from Salesforce document, Salesforce attachment, Salesforce content, or even upload files from here. Somebody was asking, hey, do you guys actually support Dropbox? Currently, no, but we will certainly take a look at other options of supporting file attachment. We do have a file storage plugin actually that comes up with MassMailer. It's called MassMailer Docs. If somebody is interested in the file storage along with emails, we can support. Eventually, we plan to bring that thing here, meaning you'll be able to upload files from the storage that you have in MassMailer Docs, but those files are not in Salesforce, they're outside of Salesforce. That way you don't incur the file storage cost, what Salesforce has got. With the next step here, you have an option to change the sender settings, such as, the logged in user is the default one. You can send it on behalf of someone else, or you can send it as a record owner, or you can actually send it as a global sender, which is set up under MassMailer setup, which I'm going to show you. And then let's say you select one of the global senders. Lack of a better word, we just call it as a global sender. And then it comes right here. If you needed to CC someone, let's say you have primary email and the secondary email on the object, you can actually select that as a CC. You can also do a BCC for compliance purpose. You can do one, or you can actually do the email. Once you're done with that, you can go to the next step. And here you can send it now or schedule later. The email group, again, I was telling you that if you have something like newsletter, promotions, and product news, kind of preference, email preferences, you can select that. Runtime. IP pool is actually a little advanced. If you are really high volume email sender, you don't want to hurt your reputation for marketing emails versus the transactional emails. You can segregate them by IP pools and select the respective IP pool at the time of sending it. And our customers having separate IPs for the internal communications versus external communications. So, various different use case scenarios. And if you ever needed to remove the unsubscribe link, you can actually just switch and then suppress the unsubscribe link. Then go to the next step where you're actually going to review everything. We do have a preview option before you send out email. Even the editor itself has a preview option as well. So either way, you can actually quickly take a look and make sure it's all in a good condition. Also, there is a way you can send a test email. There's a test button. I can show it to you. The preview email is this. This is how it's going to look. Please ignore this. There is some sort of a bug in Salesforce. It's not taking this away. And then you can send a test email. You can send it to comma separated. You can also merge record in send now. That's how you can send test email. And then you can submit this job by clicking on this finish, and that will let you send mass emails. And if you needed to send single email, yes, that feature is also available. And then everything gets stored in an object called MassMailer outreaches, in which you can actually track everything what you sent, who the recipient is, who the sender is, what template is that, the delivery info and the status, and also the statistics, like how many opened and clicked and all of that. We also have a drill down, like who actually clicked. You can click on this and it shows that details. And then every record, meaning let's say the lead record that you actually used, will also have the activity history and also the email status values. These are like opens and clicks and processed. And if it's a click, we also track this respective, for example, this is the click event. We get to the level of tracking what link they've actually clicked. That way you can take any action if they clicked on so-and-so button. You can also pass this parameter. You can see this ETM, medium, email. This is something that you can actually change at runtime. So you can pass any URL parameters, and based on that, you can take an action using the process builder again. So this is it. And I already showed to you the email statistics thing. And then before I actually go and demo other features, any questions so far?
Okay. Yes, we do have a question.
Does this show that if we send an email out, if the client no longer uses that email?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, bounces, meaning it's the bounce event. I pull here. Yes, we do track the bounce event as well. And if at all email bounces, you would track it in one of the field, like meaning you would actually know why it bounced. The reason field will get populated.
Thank you.
Okay. Any more questions? Okay. We do have a verifier.
One more question. Sorry.
Yeah. Sure.
Are,
yeah, please.
Are you going to talk more moving forward about, I think you had mentioned earlier where if someone would have options to, instead of just unsubscribing totally, they would be able to opt out like with options.
Yeah.
Is that coming in the presentation, or if not, could we make sure that we talk about it a little bit?
Oh yeah, I can show it to you. I think I should have done that. That's okay. So let's say you want to send an email to a lead. Actually, it's a good way to demo this, how to send email from a lead or a contact or any custom object. Yeah. So it brings up the same thing. There's no difference as that. The flow is the same thing. And then you're sending it to only one lead. Yeah. You can send it to multiple as well from the Salesforce list view. And let's say we call it as demo email preferences. And then I'm just going to type in and then go to the next step and keep going to the next step. And we have the sender options. So let's keep everything the same for now for a quick demo. And here is where you're actually selecting, hey, I want to send this to, this email belongs to a newsletter, right? The concept is that anybody who unsubscribed from newsletter, they will not receive the email, but the others will. That's the concept. So by default, everybody is subscribed to everything because we don't let you, it's not required. So when you're sending out email to your contact lead, and then you choose an option of saying, hey, this belongs to email newsletter, they will get to pick and choose if they want to unsubscribe from a specific email. So that's the kind of a concept. So if you see this, the September 19 newsletter that I sent out, it would have a different link versus so this is the email I received, and then here it says click to unsubscribe. If I click on it, actually it unsubscribes me from the complete system. I've got the file, the rest is all looking great. And this will go away when you actually get into production. This will show your domain name, and we actually help you to authenticate. And for this one, way in which you can actually see that you can unsubscribe from a list, the current list, or you can actually go to the preferences, where in which it will ask you, hey, do you want to opt out from any of these groups or opt out from all emails? And if I say, hey, I want to opt out only from this, and then say preferences. So that's how the email preferences should work. Yeah.
Thank you. A follow-up question or two. One was wanting to confirm that works with Gmail and Outlook. And then the other question is if there's any, like, if we can control the text around that opt-out or that manage preferences page.
Yeah. So that feature is getting packaged and released early next week. Otherwise, I can show it to you. It's actually a different instance. Okay, let me show you. So this is a setup screen. Yeah, few things to talk about here. One is the tracking settings. So this is where you can actually set up whether you want the unsubscribe link to be there or not. In this particular section, you would actually see a placeholder where you can change the unsubscribe link, the message that you actually append. Let's say you want to completely have that unsubscribe link somewhere on top of the email template, somewhere in the HTML or somewhere, right? You can do that. It's called a replacement tag. You just have to append that replacement tag in your HTML code, and then you can have that link anywhere. So bottom line, you can completely customize where you want to display and how you want to display that unsubscribe link. Okay.
Thank you.
And you can also, thank you. Yeah. And you can also turn off the logging. Sometimes if you don't need this, you can actually turn it off. We're building a feature through which you can actually turn off at runtime, meaning every email you can customize whether you want to turn off the logging activity or not. So whatever you see here is more like a global setting. You can override this global setting when you're sending out emails. So that's the kind of concept. You can also log activities using Salesforce email message so that it actually looks like a real HTML, the activity itself. You can turn off any event logging. Let's say you say, hey, I don't want to know that email got processed. I just want to know whether they opened it and whether it is delivered or bounced. You can pick and choose which one you want to turn off. You can selectively turn off click tracking and open tracking. That's possible too. And then email settings is important, way in which you can actually enable any object in MassMailer. By default, we support all these except the course is a custom object. But if you want to enable any other object which has got email field, you just sort of come here and say, hey, I want to select my object and I want to select my email, and then just save it. That's it. Pretty much everything is done except the page layout. You will have to add the respective buttons to the page layout for which we'll provide you instructions. And then unsubscribe groups, which seems like it's a popular concept here. So you can actually create additional unsubscribe groups, such as say donor communication. Yeah, let's say you just have to say that and enter that and make it active, and then just say create, and that creates an unsubscribe group. Okay, so that's how you do that. And then sender settings, again, I was talking about the global sender. If you ever wanted to add, say, what should I call this? Your friend at XYZ org or something. Yeah, just some name. Maybe it is coming from helping hands at abc.com kind of thing, right? And then you just save this, right? That becomes your global sender, and that shows up in the drop down. And you can turn off and turn on this. The default BCC sender. You can also add an email address if needed. You can also suppress any duplicate emails at runtime, meaning if you don't know if you have duplicates and you don't want to send duplicate emails, you just turn it on and we take care of it. So we basically send an email to say abc.com, xyz at abc.com. If we find that xyz.abc.com, again, the same mass email campaign, we turn it off. So that's the concept. And then you can actually send out emails from the list view, as I was saying. So let's say you have leads and you need to send emails to this list. You just have to click the send via MassMailer, and that is actually going to bring up the same screen which you saw the original outreach wizard, right? But here you're actually sending out email to the whole list, and it brings up partial results right here. And same thing you can do from campaign. Campaign, the reason why we build campaign is, I mean, sometimes marketing teams would like to capture the stats on campaign, also tag it to the opportunity. So it's the best way to do it from campaign. So select any of the list views and it shows up this new MassMailer campaign button. You click that and create your, give a campaign name, and then you just add the campaign members. Right now we have option to add it from the MassMailer list view, but we plan to open up the Salesforce list view as well as reports in the coming releases. We're working on it. So let's say you want to send out emails to some leads and then some contacts. You just have to select and then add campaign members. They'll add it. Actually, every time you want to add something, you have to select and then click on this add campaign members. So that's how you do it. And then the next step is actually going to the outreach wizard, and it brings up the screen automatically. You may ask me a question, what if I already created a campaign in Salesforce using a new button? How do I do that? You would see a send via MassMailer button on the regular campaign. And also you can track the statistics on the campaign itself. So it's, you know, basically anything that you do with the campaign, the standard way of Salesforce, that's absolutely okay with us. You just have to add those buttons to the page layout, and then you're good to go. So you would see some buttons like send via MassMailer, clone, and reset campaign member status, remove duplicates, unschedule. These are all the custom buttons you get from MassMailer. And again, the same thing, you get the statistics right here. All of that gets stored right there. And email status values would come right there. And the activity also gets logged. So this example seems like it doesn't have it. So otherwise, you would get all these details in the campaign itself. So that's another feature that we have. Any questions?
I think we're in awe. That's all.
Okay. I have a few more minutes. I think maybe it is very interesting for you to know some advanced feature, because we looked at the emailing as not just a tool where through which you can just send mass email, but you got to be successful. But how do you become successful in emails? Right, sending out emails in the world where we are, a lot of compliance and rules and regulations. So how does MassMailer help you to really understand what those best practices are there and how to take any action if you are making a mistake, right? So there is something called MassMailer Email Monitor. You just have to fill the details here as if you're sending out email to some list of contacts. Let's say sending out to this industry, and you got maybe 10,000 lists that you're sending out, and you're sending out to say United States, and then picking up a template, what you're going to send, and you know that it's English, and then you bring up this template right there, and then you're actually going to go say test email deliverability, and this is actually going to send out an email to our engine, and it's going to give you the results of how good your email is going to be. So I have a report for a previous email that I ran. So it shows the deliverability report. This is how much is going to go to inbox, and this is how much is going to go to spam filters. What is the average when it comes to that industry and that particular region? And if there are any issues, what are those issues are? There are specific content issues, such as, maybe some words are not recommended. So you get to know what words are not recommended, and some problems with the layout, maybe certain phrases, it's going to highlight everything. Also, if you have any problem with the layout, it will highlight. And it will also show if you have any links that you're embedding which are not good, It also shows the link quality, and if they're blacklisted, it shows you that it is blacklisted. Or maybe say there's some sort of a problem with that link, right? And also we go to the infrastructure level and let you know if your IP address and the domain name is in a good condition or not. If it is blacklisted, it actually shows you this RBL, which is a blacklist. And also we track your SPF and DKIM and DMARC and make sure it's all good. I know we didn't really talk much about email best practices. Otherwise, other presentations that I've done for nonprofit groups, I actually went into a little bit more in depth of what you need to do in order to really make you successful in your email strategy. So we help you to set up this SPF, DK, and these are all called, just to explain in simple layman terms, right? If you are saying that, hey, I'm abc.com, I'm sending email from abc.com, how does the internet world would know that you're abc.com so that you're authenticating, right, yourself? So for which internet has got a framework called SPF, DKIM, and DMARC, and a few more things, through which you set up the domain name, the email domain name that you're going to use, and also tag it to the specific server, the host name that we provide, and say, hey, I'm sending this email through this server, and this belongs to me, and you publish that DNS record. That's how the internet servers know that even though you're sending it via the MassMailer email servers, which you do not know, you're just renting it, but you're still authenticating that I'm actually authenticating MassMailer to do this for me, right? And that's the reason why your email is authenticated. They know you're the real sender, and they will put it in the inbox rather than in the spam folder. So that's a simple concept, but we help you to take care of that. Also, the complaints. If at all you're having any issues in the cookies for the domains that you're actually using as a link, it'll highlight if at all any warning. And most importantly, the previews. If you're sending out email, how do you know this email is going to look the way it's supposed to look on any of the email clients, such as Outlook, right? You would want to open it and see how is it looking in Outlook, make sure the actual layout is good. And also various other email clients, even the phones, right? The smartphones, iPhones, and Androids. There are certain web clients and also the desktop clients and also the mobile clients that we support. You can actually make sure it's all in a good condition before you send out email. Anytime you need any help, we have a complete knowledge base on every topic. That way you actually know how to even send email, right? Meaning how best to really write a content, what problems you may have in vocabulary copywriting, and how should the header look. All of those things, we have a complete details right here. That way you can pretty much be successful by following the guidelines that we provide. So that comes with MassMailer. Again, it's a plugin that we use and make you successful, right? Any more questions before I just talk about a little bit of a pricing, if you're interested?
Yes, we have a question.
You had talked
Okay.
in the beginning about being able to integrate this with Process Builder. Could you talk a little bit more about what that looks like?
Okay, all right. Not log into a different instance, but I'm happy to kind of show you, even though I may not be able to run everything, but I'll show you the existing processes that we have developed. Okay. Okay. So let's say you want to send out a simple auto response for a lead. You create a regular process. Let's see. Yeah. You create a regular process and it's on lead, and you want this to be triggered when the record is created, and you have any criteria just to make sure it meets the criteria and the conditions that you may have. This is all Salesforce Process Builder. It's not MassMailer. And MassMailer comes in picture when you actually want to create an action. You actually select the Apex type, and then Apex class is MassMailer email alert. And then you can select, hey, I want to use this template, and this is my lead ID. Basically, that's the record identifier. And then you would want to say, okay, this is my from address, and this is my to address. There are actually much more advanced features that we have if you want to basically turn off activity logging and turn off certain event logging for emails. You want to maybe schedule at a different time. You want to use a group email preference and also the IP pool. All of those things are available in the upcoming release. So this is actually pretty advanced. So here, what you're doing is whatever you have seen in the outreach wizard, you can actually do pretty much everything right here, but there are options that you're going to select right here. This works for both standard objects and custom objects. So if you have a custom object, we can support that as well. And I talked about the drip campaign. Again, we are using the power of the Salesforce. You can create a drip campaign. It's again, you run like a process on campaign member, and you say that, hey, I want to use this particular campaign. So basically, campaign member belongs to a certain campaign, and you have any other criteria, right, for status, for example. And then you say, I want to invoke my drip one. It's another process that you create, which is drip one, and you pass in the same campaign or member, and say after 1 hour, you actually want to invoke drip two, which is another process. And what is drip one and what is drip two? It's a simple process, invocable process, we call it as in Salesforce. Again, you're running it on a campaign member, you get the context of campaign. You may have certain criteria for drip one, make sure it belongs to the same campaign. And you may have some sort of status, make sure it's not bounced or anything like that. If you want to have additional criteria, you can do that. And then again, you're just sending your drip email, your drip one email alert. Very simple. You select the Apex class, the respective Apex class, and then fill in the details of who is sending it and what template you're using. And a few more options here when you actually activate it. So that's how we actually create a process email alert. Any questions here? Any questions for me?
I don't have any here. Any further questions? No, thank you.
Okay, all right. Okay, so going back to the presentation, quickly on the pricing, majorly there are two components. How many number of users? This is the MassMailer users, not Salesforce users, meaning if you have 10 users in Salesforce, you can just pick one MassMailer user. That's $49.99 per user per month. If you have volume, so we can provide some discount. So this is actually using dedicated IP address. We have like other pricing. If you don't want dedicated IP address, even though we always recommend to go with the dedicated IP, but if you choose the other lower plan, you can always add dedicated IP as an add-on. So this is the kind of a pricing. Perhaps it makes sense if I actually bring the website. Maybe it's much more easy to understand. Okay. So basically, how many users you're going to use, and then how many emails you're actually sending out per month. You have an option to go with a shared IP. As I said, we always recommend the dedicated IP. So it starts off at 10,000 emails as shared IP, but the dedicated IP is 100,000 is where it starts. But you can always add a dedicated IP even if you go with this plan. You can add it as $79.99. You get that email monitor add-on that's included there. And there are other add-ons that we have like email verifier, document storage. This pricing is going to change. It's actually going to be much cheaper than what it is here. And then we got some support packages that are available, all of that, right? So you can actually go to our website, massmailer.io, and go to pricing. You can get started, click on the start free trial, enter the email address, and then it's going to bring up, it'll give an option for you to select whether you want to install it in production instance or the sandbox instance. So you just pick and choose. We will help you to set up, like if you're interested in getting in a trial, just click on one of these buttons. I get notified, and we'll actually do the setup for you. That way, we take the pain out from you. Even though it's quite easy to actually set it up. Yeah. So that's how you get started. Any questions, feel free to submit a form from our website. You can request a live demo, or you can actually submit a form, or you can actually just get on a free trial. And you can also send an email. That's hello@massmailer.io. We've got a support portal, support.massmailer.io. So you can call me as well. This is the number.
Thank you. I think we had two little clarification questions on the pricing. One is just making sure we understand correctly that there's the per user pricing as well as that monthly, 100,000 emails or 200,000 emails pricing. And so you'd be paying both of those, correct?
Absolutely. Right. Yeah.
And the other question is, you mentioned a 10% annual discount and a 10% nonprofit discount. Does that mean a nonprofit paying annually would get a 20% discount, or would it still just be 10%?
Yeah. So if you're a nonprofit, you actually get 20% discount. And for the users, who are attending this session, if they want to get on MassMailer, I'm happy to add 10% discount on the user, additional 10% discount on the user license. So you can get total 30% discount if you're actually going around with the annual billing. Okay.
Could you clarify what you just said? Sorry, we got a little confused.
Okay. So I was saying that if you sign up for an annual billing, you get 10% non-profit discount, 10% annual billing discount, and I'm happy to give additional 10% more discount for the users coming in from your group. They'll give you like a 30% discount on the user license if you sign up with the annual billing.
Awesome, thank you.
All right. Any more final questions?
Not from us.
All right. Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much once again, Jillian. Great talking to you. Great talking to all of you. Any help that you need, feel free to send an email. I'm happy to get on a quick call. Thank you once again. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.